Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Chapter 5. Shri Shuka Uvacha Dwari Rushabah Kurunam Maitreya Maghadhabodam Kshattopasrutyachruta Bhavasiddha Papracha Saushilya Gunabhitruptaha. Shukadeva Goswami said, Vidura, the best among the Kuru dynasty, who was perfect in devotional service to the Lord, thus reached the source of the celestial Ganges river, Haridwar, where Maitreya, the great, fathomless, learned sage of the world, was seated. Vidura, who was perfect in gentleness and satisfied in transcendence, inquired from him. Vidura Uvacha Sukaya Karmani Karoti Loko Natai Sukham Vanyaduparamam Va Vindeta Yutastata Eva Dukkham Yadatra Yuktam Bhagavan Vadennaha. Vidura said, O great sage, everyone in this world engages in fruitive activities to attain happiness, but one finds neither satiation nor mitigation of distress. On the contrary, one is only aggravated by such activities. Please therefore give us directions on how one should live for real happiness. Janasya Krishnadvimukasya Daiva Dadharmashilasya Sudukkhitasya Anugrahayeha Charanti Noonam Bhutani Bhavyani Janardhanasya. O my Lord, great philanthropic souls travel on earth on behalf of the Supreme Personality of Godhead to show compassion to the fallen souls who are averse to the sense of subordination to the Lord. Tat sadhu varyadishavatmasham naha samradito bhagavan yena pumsam hridistito yachrati bhakti pute jnanam Satatvadhigamam Puranam. Therefore, O great sage, please give me instruction on the transcendental devotional service of the Lord, so that He who is situated in the heart of everyone can be pleased to impart from within knowledge of the absolute truth in terms of ancient Vedic principles derived only to those who are purified by the process of devotional service. Karoti karmani krutavataro yanyatmatantro bhagavamstradhishaha yata sasargraja idam nirihaha samstapya vrittim jagato vidatte. O great sage, kindly narrate how the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the independent, desireless Lord of the three worlds and the controller of all energies, accepts incarnations and creates the cosmic manifestation with perfectly arranged regulative principles for its maintenance. Yata punasvai ka idam niveshya shete guhayam sa nivruttavrittihi Yogeshwaradhishwara eka etadanupravishto bahudayatasit. He lies down on his own heart, spread in the form of the sky, and thus placing the whole creation in that space, he expands himself into many living entities which are manifested as different species of earth. He does not have to endeavor for his maintenance because he is the master of all mystic powers and the proprietor of everything. Thus, he is distinct from living entities. क्रीडन् विधत्ते द्विजगोसुगाणां क्षेमाय कर्माण्यवतारभेदैः मनो न तृप्यात्मयि मनो न तृप्यात्यपि शृण्वतां नः शुश्लोकमौलेश्चरितामृतानि. You may narrate also about the auspicious characteristics of the Lord in his different incarnations for the welfare of the twice born, the cows, and the demigods. Our minds are never satisfied completely, although we continuously hear of his transcendental activities. ऐतस्त्वबोधैरधिलोकनाथो लोकान् सह लोकपालान् आचीक्लुपद्यत्र हि सर्वसत्त्व निकायभेदोऽधिकृतः प्रतीतः. The Supreme King of all kings has created different planets and places of habitation where living entities are situated in terms of the modes of nature and work, and he has created their different kings and rulers. येन प्रजानामुत आत्मकर्म रूपाभिधानां च भिदां व्यदत्त नारायणो विश्वसृगात्मयोनिर् एतच्च नो वर्णय विप्रवर्य. O chief amongst the Brahmanas, please also describe how Narayana, the creator of the universe and the self-sufficient Lord, has differently created the natures, activities, forms, features, and the names of the different living creatures. Paravaresham Bhagavan Vratani Shrutani me Vyasa Mukhadabhikshnam Atrupnuma Kshullasukhavahanam Teshamrute Krishna Katamrutaughat. O my Lord, I have repeatedly heard about these higher and lower statuses of human society from the mouth of Vyasadeva, and I am quite satiated with all these lesser subject matters and their happinesses. They have not satisfied me with the nectar of topics about Krishna. Kastrupnuyat tirthapadobidhanat kshatreshu vasuribhiridyamanat yah karnanadim purushasya yato bhavatpradam geharatim chinatti. Who in human society can be satisfied without hearing sufficient talk of the Lord, whose lotus feet are the sum total of all places of the pilgrimage, and who is worshipped by great sages and devotees? Such topics can cut off one's bondage to family affection simply by entering the holes of one's ears. Munirvivakshur bhagavad gunanam sakapite bhagatamaha krishnaha yasmin runam gramya sukhanuvadair matir gruhitanuhare katayam. Your friend, the great sage Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa, has already described the transcendental qualities of the Lord in his great work, the Mahabharata, but the whole idea is to draw the attention of the mass of the people to Krishna Katha, Bhagavad Gita, through their strong affinity for hearing mundane topics. Sa Shraddadhanasya Vivardhamana Virakti Manyatra Karoti Pumsaha हरेः पदानुस्मृति निर्वृतस्य समस्तदुःखाप्ययमाशु दत्ते. For one who is anxious to engage constantly in hearing such topics, Krishna Katha gradually increases his indifference towards all other topics, all other things. Such constant remembrance of the lotus feet of the Lord Krishna by the devotees who have achieved transcendental bliss vanquishes all their miseries without delay. ताञ्चोच्यशोच्यानविदोऽनुशोचे हरेः कथायां विमुखानघेन क्षीणोति देवो निमिषस्तु येषम् आयुर्वृतावाध गतिस्मृतीनाम्. O sage, persons who because of their sinful activities are averse to the topics of transcendence and thus ignorant of the purpose of the Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita, are pitied by the pitiable. I also pity them because I see how the duration of life is spoiled by the eternal time while they involve themselves in presentations of philosophical speculation, theoretical ultimate goals of life, and different modes of ritual. तदस्य कौशारवशार्मधातुर् हरेः कथामेव कथासु सारम् उद्धृत्य पुष्पेभ्य इवार्तबन्धो शिवाय नः कीर्तय तीर्थकीर्तेः. O Maitreya, O friend of the distressed, the glories of the Supreme Lord can alone be good for people all over the world. Therefore, just as bees collect honey from flowers, kindly describe the essence of all topics, the topics of the Lord. Savishwajanmatitim Savishwajanmatiti samyamarte krutavatara pragruhita shaktihi chakara karmanyati purushani yanishwarah kirtayatani mahyam. Kindly chant all those superhuman transcendental activities of the Supreme Controller, the Personality of Godhead, who accepted incarnations fully equipped with all potency for the full manifestation and maintenance of cosmic creation. Shri Shuka Uvacha Saye Bhagavan Prushtaha Kshatra Kausharavo Munihi Pumsam Nishreyasartena Tamaha Bahumanayan. Sukadeva Goswami said, the great sage Maitreya Muni, after honoring Vidura very greatly, began to speak at Vidura's request for the greatest welfare of all people. Maitreya Uvacha Sadhu Prushtatvaya Sadho Lokan Sadhvanu Gruhnata Kirtim Vitanvata Loke Atmano Dhyokshajatmanaha. Sri Maitreya said, O Vidura, all glory unto you. You have inquired from me of the greatest of all goodness, and thus you have shown your mercy both to the world and to me, because your mind is always absorbed in thoughts of transcendence. Naitachitram tvayi kshattar Badarayana viryaje Gruhito nanya bhavena Yatvaya haririshwaraha. O Vidura, it is not at all wonderful that you have so accepted the Lord without deviation of thought, for you were born from the semen of Vyasadeva. Mandavya-shapad Bhagavan Prajasam Yamano Yamaha Bratruhu Kshetre Bhujishyayam jatas satyavati sutat. I know that you are now Vidura due to the cursing of Mandavya Muni, and that formerly you were King Yamaraja, the great controller of living entities after their death. You were begotten by the son of Satyavati, Vyasadeva, in the kept wife of his brother. Bhavan Bhagavato Nityam Sammatah Sadhunasyaha Yasya Jnanopadeshaya Madishad Bhagavan Vrajan. Your good self is the one of eternal associates of the Supreme Personality of God, for whose sake the Lord, while going back to his abode, left instructions with me. Atate Bhagavallila Yogamayorubhrumhitaha Vishwastityudbhavantartha Varnayamyanupurvashaha. I shall therefore describe to you the pastimes by which the personality of Godhead extends his transcendental potency for the creation, maintenance, and dissolution of the cosmic world as they occur one after another. Bhagavaneka asedam agra atmatmanam vibhuhu atmechchanugatāvatma nānamatyupalakshanaha. The personality of Godhead, the master of all living entities, existed prior to the creation as one without a second. It is by his will only that the creation is made possible, and again everything merges into him. This supreme self is symptomized by different names. Sava yesha tada drashta napashyad drishyamekarat mane santamivatmanam suptadrika. The Lord, the undisputed proprietor of everything, was the only seer. The cosmic manifestation was not present at that time, and thus he felt imperfect without his plenary and separated parts and parcels. The material energy was dormant, whereas the internal potency was manifested. Sava yetasya samdrashtuhu shaktis sadatmika Maya nama mahabhaga yayedam nirmame vibhuhu. The Lord is the seer, and the external energy which is seen works as both cause and effect in the cosmic manifestation. O greatly fortunate Vidura, this external energy is known as Maya or illusion, and through her agency only is the entire material manifestation made possible. Kalavruttya tu mayayam gunamayyāmadhokshajah purushenatma bhutena viryamādhatta viryavan. The Supreme Living Being, in his feature as the transcendental Purusha incarnation, who is the Lord's planetary expansion, impregnates the material nature of three modes, and thus, by the influence of the eternal time, the living entities appear. Tatto bhavan mahattattvam avyaktat kala choditat vijñānātmātmadehastam vishvam vyanjamstamodunaha. Thereafter, influenced by the interaction of eternal time, the supreme sum total of matter, called the Mahattattva, became manifested, and in this Mahattattva, the unalloyed goodness, the Supreme Lord sowed the seeds of universal manifestation out of his body. So'pyam shugunakalatma bhagavad-drishti-gocharaha atmanam vyakarodatma vishwasyasya sisrukshaya. Thereafter, The Mahatattva differentiated itself into many different forms as the reservoir of the world of the would-be entities. The Mahatattva is chiefly in the mode of ignorance and it generates the false ego. It is a planetary expansion of the personality of Godhead with full consciousness of creative principles and time for fructification. महत्तत्त्वाद्विकुर्वाणाद् अहं तत्त्वं व्यजायत कार्यकारणकर्तात्मा भूतेन्द्रियमनोमयः वैकारिकस्तैजसश्च ताम तामसश् तामस तामसश्चेत्यहं त्रिधा. Mahatattva, or the great causal truth, transforms into false ego, which is manifested in three phases: cause, effect, and the doer. And all activities are on the mental plane and are based on the material elements, gross senses, mental speculation. The false ego is represented in three different modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. Aham tattvaadvikurvanam अनोवैकारिकादभूत् वैकारिकाश्च ये देवा अर्थाभिव्यञ्जनं यतः. The false ego is transformed into mind by interaction with the mode of goodness. All the demigods who control the phenomenal world are also products of the same principle, namely the interaction of false ego and the mode of goodness. तैजसानीन्द्रियाण्येव ज्ञानकर्मभयानि च. The senses are certainly products of modes of passion in false ego, and therefore philosophical speculative knowledge and fruitive actions are predominantly products of the mode of passion. Tamaso bhuta sukshmadir yatah kham lingamatmanah. The sky is a product of sound, and the sound is the transformation of egoistic passion. In other words, the sky is the symbolic representation of the Supreme Soul. Kalam ayam sharogena bhagavadvikshitam nabah nabaso nusrutam sparsham vikurvan nirmame nilam. Thereafter, the personality of Godhead glanced over the sky, partly mixed with eternal time and external energy, and thus develops the touch sensation from which the air in the sky was produced. Anilopi vikurvano nabasorubalanvitaha sasarjarupa tanmatram tayo Jyotirlokasya lochanam. Thereafter, the extremely powerful air interacting with the sky generated the form of sense perception, and the perception of the form transformed into electricity, the light to see the world. Anilenanvitam jyotir vikurvat paravikshitam adattambhor rasamayam Kalamayam shayogataha. When the electricity was surcharged in the air and was glanced over by the Supreme at the time by a mix of eternal time and external energy, there occurred the creation of water and taste. Jyotisham bonusam srushtam vikurvad brahma vikshitam Mahim Gandaguna Kalamayam Shayogataha. Thereafter, the water produced from the electricity was glanced over by the Supreme Personality of Godhead and mixed with eternal time and external energy. Thus, it was transformed into the earth, which is qualified primarily by smell. Bhutanam naba adhinam yad bhavyavaravaram तेषां परानुसंसर्गाद् यथा संख्यां गुणान् विदुः. O gentle one, of all the physical elements, beginning from sky down to the earth, all the inferior and superior qualities are due to the final touch of a glance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yete devah kala vishnoh kalamayaam shalinginah nanattvas स्वकीयानीशाः प्रोचुः प्राञ्जलयो विभुम्. The controlling deities of all the above-mentioned physical elements are empowered expansions of Lord Vishnu. They are embodied by the eternal time under the external energy, and they are his parts and parcels. Because they are entrusted with different functions of universal duties and were unable to perform them, they offered fascinating prayers to the Lord as follows. Deva uchuhu Namaya me deva, namayate deva para padaravindam prapannatapopashama shamatapatram yanmulaketa yatayonjasorum soru samsara dukkham bahir rudkshipanti. The demigod said, O Lord, your lotus feet are like an umbrella for the surrendered souls, protecting them from all the miseries of the material existence. All the sages under that shelter throw off all the material miseries. You therefore offer our respectful obeisances unto your lotus feet. Dataryadasmin bhava isha jivas तापत्रयोणाभिहता न शर्म आत्मन् लभन्ते भगवंस्तवाङ्घ्रि छायां सविद्यामत आश्रयेम. O Father, O Lord, O Personality of Godhead, the living entities in the material world can never have any happiness because they are overwhelmed by the three kinds of miseries. Therefore, they take shelter of the shade of your lotus feet, which are full of knowledge, and we also thus take shelter of them. Marganti yatte mukha padmanidaicha chandah suparnair rushayo vivikte यस्याघमर्षोदसरिद्वरायाः padam tirthapadah prapannaah. The lotus feet of the Lord are by themselves the shelter of all places of pilgrimage. The great clear-minded sages, carried by the wings of the Vedas, always search after the nest of your lotus feet, lotus-like face. Some of them surrender to your lotus feet at every step by taking shelter of the best of the rivers, the Ganges, which can deliver one from all sinful reactions. Yachraddhaya shrutavatya cha bhaktya samsrujyamane hrudaye vadhaya jnanena vairagyabalena dhira vrajena tattengri sarojapitam. Simply by hearing about your lotus feet with eagerness and devotion, and by meditating upon them within the heart, one at once becomes enlightened with the knowledge, and on the strength of the detachment, one becomes pacified. We must therefore take shelter of the sanctuary of your lotus feet. Vishwasya janmastiti samyamarte krutavatarasya padambujam te vrajema sarve sharanam yadhisha smrutam pratyachat bhayam swapumsam. O Lord, you assume incarnations for the creation, maintenance, and dissolution of the cosmic manifestation, and therefore we all take shelter of your lotus feet because they always award remembrance and courage to your devotees. यत्सानुबन्धे सति देहगेहे मामाहमित्यूढदुराग्रहाणां पुंसां सुदूरं वसतोऽपि पुर्यां भजेम तत्ते भगवान् padabjam. O Lord, persons who are entangled by undesirable eagerness for the temporary body and kingsmen, and who are bound by thoughts of mine and I, are unable to see your lotus feet, although your lotus feet are situated within their own bodies. But let us take shelter of your lotus feet. Tan vai ह्यसद्वृत्तिभिरक्षिभिर्ये पाराहृतान्तर्मनसः परेश अतो न पश्यन्त्युरुगाय नूनं ये ते पदन्यासविलासलक्ष्याः. O great Supreme Lord, offensive persons whose internal vision has been too affected by the external materialistic activities cannot see your lotus feet, but they are seen by your pure devotees, whose one and only aim is to transcendently enjoy your activities. Panena te devakata-sudhayaah pravruddha-bhaktya vishadashayaye vairagyasaram pratilabhya bodham yatanjasanviyura kuntadhishthyam. O Lord, persons who because of their serious attitude attain the stage of enlightened devotional service, achieve the complete meaning of renunciation and knowledge, and attain the Vaikuntha Loka in the spiritual sky simply by drinking the nectar of your topics. Tata pare chatma samadhi yoga balena jitva prakrutim bhalishtam tvameva dhirah purusham vishanti tesham kshamasyanna tu sevayate. Others, who are pacified by means of transcendental self-realization, have conquered over the modes of nature by dint of strong power and knowledge, also enter into you. But for them there is so much pain, whereas the devotee simply discharges devotional services and thus feels no such pain. Tatte vayam lokasi srukshayadhya त्यागानुसृष्टास्त्रिभिरात्मभिस्म सर्वे वियुक्ताः स्वविहारतन्त्रं न शक्नुमस्तत्प्रतिहर्तवेस्ते. O original person, we are therefore but yours only. Although you are your creatures, we are born one after another under the influence of the three modes of nature, and for this reason we are separated in action. Therefore, after the creation, we should not act concertedly for your transcendental pleasure. Yavad bhalim tejaharasa kale yata vayam channamadhama yatra yato bhayesham ta imehi loka balim harantonnamadantyanoha. O unborn one, please enlighten us regarding the ways and the means by which we can offer you all enjoyable grains and commodities, so that both we and all other living entities in this world can maintain ourselves without disturbance and can easily accumulate the necessities of life both for you and for ourselves. Tvam nasughanamasi sanvayanam kutastha adhyah purushah puranah त्वं देवशक्त्यां गुणकर्मयोनौ रेतस्त्वजायां कविमाददेजः. You are the original personal founder of all the demigods and the orders of different gradations, yet you are the oldest and are unchanged. O Lord, you have no sense, no source or superior. You have impregnated the external energy with the semen of the total living entities, yet you are unborn. Tato vayam matpramukha yadarthe babhuvi matman karavama kim te tvam nas swachakshuhu paridehi shaktya deva prakirte yadanugrahanam. O Supreme Self, please give us, who are created in the beginning from the Mahat Tattva, the total cosmic energy, your kind directions on how we shall act. Kindly award us your perfect knowledge and potency so that we can render you service in the different departments of subsequent creation. Thus ends the chapter entitled Vidura Talks with Maitreya. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.